One of the pandemics that continues to ravage society and have a pervasive negative impact is not COVID, but in fact loneliness. If you look for it, you can find news stories and academic studies all exploring how we are becoming lonelier and more isolated as individuals and as a society, despite the fact that we have technology that can bring us into greater contact with one another. And the shift towards societal loneliness is not anything that's new. And sociologists and other social scientists have been studying this phenomenon probably for as long as there's been society. One of the people who've examined this rising epidemic or pandemic of loneliness is Ray Oldenburg. In his book, The Great Place, he describes something called a third place. And a third place is a place that's situated between home, which he refers to as the first place, and work, which he calls the second place. The third place is a location where we can come into contact with other people, often not like us, with whom we can actually engage in forming connection and community. An important thing about these third places is that they facilitate the coming together with people we probably wouldn't otherwise have met. And it's not the case that we're out of third places or that they've all shut down. In fact, we can find potential third places all around us. Cafes and coffee shops, gyms, workout facilities, the mall, churches, synagogues, mosques, other places of religious worship, parks, barbershops, and salons. There are third places everywhere. So the problem isn't that we don't have any third places. Rather, the problem is, what are we doing in those third places? In an article titled, How Smartphones Wrecked Bar Drinking, author Clare Coffey posits that doom scrolling has ruined the bar as a third place. She was really excited about getting back to a bar for the ability to be among other people. But what she found when she went back to these bars was that people weren't talking to each other. They were on their phones scrolling. She describes a row of bar stools filled with people downing their beers and hunched over their hands, scrolling their feeds, never taking an eye off their screens. Now, this is nothing new. It's not like smartphones were just invented, but she hadn't noticed it before the pandemic. And it took the pandemic for her to realize we spend a lot of times on our phones in places where we could be being social with other people. Scrolling on our phones takes us out of shared moments with one another, with other people that are right around us. And as a result of this, we're no longer having a common experience, but rather separate and fragmented experiences. Our attention is directed inwards to the world of our algorithmically curated social media feeds, rather than our attention and our engagement being outward towards something that we can all take in together, whether it be a sporting event on a television screen, a conversation about a news story, or just catching the glance of another person with whom you might actually have a conversation. And in fact, one of the things that our screens do is remove those awkward moments where we are sitting in silence without knowing where to direct what sociologist Irving Goffman called civil inattention. Civil inattention is, what do you do when you have nothing to do? How do you direct your attention in a space surrounded by other people so that you don't seem weird or creepy? Clare states, quote, in providing an easy way out from those awkward moments, scrolling also removes the openings that allow awkwardness to blossom into conviviality. It's not that all bars function as third places, but with our smartphones, that possibility is almost entirely gone. And so to build the potential for connection, to find that possibility of connection once again, we first have to enter into spaces that we share together. And the first step to sharing together is to be in the same moment at the same time with one another. Bartenders already will stop you if you drink too much. Maybe they should start taking away your smartphone if you are scrolling too much. Or, as Clare states, friends don't let friends drink and scroll. So what do you think? Should we ban smartphones from these third places, or at least limit their use? Love to hear your thoughts, and thanks.